How many of us have them friends?
9 to 5.
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 Y'all computers run faster than mine, so I'm gonna let y'all do y'all thing.
Yours isn't. What's wrong with yours?
It just don't run fast.
Torrance has a 1997 MacBook.
No, that's fine. I'll take it.
You
Shit.
got the motherfucking old G4 joint.
If y'all buy me another one, I'll take it.
I
promise
told you.
will.
I told you I'm not buying you. I said I'm gonna start you a GoFundMe.
And I will welcome it with open arms.
Honestly though, it might
I come to you with open
it might not
arms.
get much traction. I feel like most of the GoFundMes right now are gonna be for like medical bills and shit.
Dead people.
Which are legitimate, which are real, which are real things. All I'm saying is I welcome it with open arms.
Shout out to dead people and shit.
This is episode 136.
Episode 136 of the 9 to 5 podcast, a Black People Meet podcast about work, life, and balancing it all. Thank you to our sponsors, Black People Meet and Diabetes. Diabetes is the number one destination for toes. I am your host, Torrance.
I'm not doing this. I'm not doing diabetes.
No, because you niggas thought that we was gonna come on here and be positive and not get to the fucking bruh, we're gonna be locked in the house for the rest of the year. You think I can get canceled? It doesn't matter. Nothing matters right now. What are you being polite for, Torrance?
No.
I might even keep it. I may not keep it. I don't know yet. I don't know how I'm feeling right now. I might sober. I'm not even drunk.
You recording
right? It's already recorded. What you mean? You may or may not keep it. You already started the podcast.
It's not like it's live though. We can edit.
You're right. You're right. Go ahead. Do your thing.
This is America. I don't know why I said America, but this is what you call it?
You've been doing that damn grill puppy impersonation too much.
Yeah. Anyways, episode 136. We in this bitch. My name is Danny.
You got Kyle.
And it's Torrance.
We are here live. You can see our faces. We are all in the individual booths. We have a national booth headquarters all across America. In each of these booths, we have couches and do-rags and candies for us to be extra comfortable. A lot of niggas been stealing our flow. I wanted to address this early on because I feel like a lot of y'all been stealing our swag when it comes to recording in different spaces.
Cause what's this? 3?
November will be 4 years of this.
Yeah, 4 years of this.
We started in 2016.
Some niggas don't even notice, but I'm not even gonna get there. But I feel like a lot of y'all niggas been, you know what I'm saying, let's do some interviews via Zoom. But I feel like we not new to this. We're true to this.
It's our DNA.
And the 45 people who listen every single week, thank you.
Real one, salute.
The 36 people who download and listen to this fucking podcast, we do this for you.
Absolutely.
We give you quality content, quality audio every single week.
Well, not every week anymore.
Every couple of weeks, typically do a decent job of giving you content.
We did
Sometimes
a fine and average and successful though job.
Sometimes it's a little mediocre in certain
every
parts.
couple of weeks, most of us tend to come and do a podcast that 85% of the time is good.
Hey, we'll give you at least 2 minutes of decent content. At least.
You're gonna get spurts. You get spurts of good shit throughout. That's how it's gonna be.
Crazy.
Yeah, you're gonna get some of like the 96 Bulls, and then you're gonna get some of like the last season of Kobe Lakers. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's gonna be a mixed bag.
Sacramento Kings. Anyways, we don't have any black facts or anything. This is a random ass podcast because we figured, hey, out of the 36 loyal listeners we have, we might as well just record because the world is ending. This is the season finale.
Plus, we ain't got nowhere else to go.
Nothing else to do. I haven't worn pants in months.
I do need to buy a bunch more like light jogger sweatpants.
My shit.
I don't have to wash them every week.
My shit's been. I got So I got about 3 sweats that are good. I got about 4 joggers, and them bitches been
Yeah, I
used.
just know as it gets
Rotation.
warmer, as it starts to get warmer and closer to summer, I'm gonna need to move into more of the joggers and maybe some of the cotton knit shorts. You know what I'm saying? Those are my favorites.
Gotta let your meat breathe, bro. My shit been
Let's talk.
swinging.
Okay, well that's
Huh?
enough. Let's talk
I
about.
couldn't hear you. I broke
Okay,
up.
so
What'd you say?
no, that's enough. So let's talk about how it's been hot as hell over here. It has been 80.
How hot has it been?
It's been It was 90 degrees on Friday.
Ugh.
Honestly, I think y'all should donate some of that good weather to poor Daddy in Chicago.
Yeah,
Did
it
it
was
snow
55
this,
today.
did it
We
snow
were
this past
excited.
week?
Oh, it's 55. That's like
Niggas was
spring.
outside.
On April
That's like
26th.
summer.
Yeah, niggas was outside today, boy.
Niggas outside with shorts on.
I looked across the street and I literally saw the neighbors cutting like a 20 by 10 piece of grass. Like, you know where you have your front yard, then you have the sidewalk, then that other piece of yard.
Tree
That's
box.
like right. Yeah.
Yeah. These fucking little white kids are out there
A
cutting
tree
the grass
box?
for
That's what
30
they
Tree
call
minutes.
box, yeah.
Is
Thank
that
you,
like a
Kyle.
Googleable term?
I know, right?
Google it.
I was so suburban.
Except I grew up in the city. I just had tree boxes.
According to the HOA sanctioned rules of 1994, they've been officially. But no, these little white kids was cutting that damn grass for 30 minutes. I'm like, sir, this, and it was a tree in the actual tree box. So the volume of grass that was needed was, long story
I'm so
short.
glad y'all can see it now, but it's just saying it's a box where trees go in.
I'm
That's what
telling
it's
you.
saying. It
I'm
says
telling
a
you,
box
you ain't
with
Google
trees
far
growing in.
enough. I'll find it
just
for
says-
you later, Torrance.
It says a box with trees grow in. That's what it's
Torrance,
saying.
I will find it for you later. Because you ain't Googling right, correct? You on Bing? What you on?
This nigga use
You on
Bing.
MSN
Damn,
search?
Nigga. That shit weak as hell. You
You
using
use the
MSN still,
Ask
Torrance?
G's?
I'm sorry, what? See, I'm sorry, y'all. See, now y'all get to visibly see how I don't pay attention to these motherfuckers. And this is going to be excellent. And I can't wait for y'all to just
Honestly,
get your lives.
this is great because we can finally address how rude you are to us.
Yeah, niggas on
And
their
how we
phones and
sit
shit.
here and we try to interact with you on this podcast and you just ignore us.
I'm down to be real negative today, bro. So if this shit continues,
All right, y'all. I see. All right, I
See? Damn, told you.
Okay. I had to. Did you know how hard I had to search for that? I just want to be very clear.
I
I mean,
know.
there's usually multiple definitions for singular words.
But those aren't singular words.
Sorry, phrases, terms.
I'm tired of picking
I just
up
realized
these
I'm the only
small
nigga on this podcast that beer don't connect. What the fuck is that about?
I mean, mine is barely connecting. Barely. Torrance has the best beard on the podcast.
I have the beard that just it's honestly out of control right now. I don't think y'all can see it with it's just out of control.
Yeah, see, mine ain't filled in all the way on the sides, but I decided I'm not touching my facial hair while we're in this quarantine. I don't care. What's the
Look
point?
like a fucking
I ain't got nobody to impress.
Torrance, you drinking out of a mason jar? You fucking
I just pulled the beer.
Huckleberry Finn
Absolutely.
ass nigga. You what's the point
Mason
of
jars
it?
are great.
Mason jars are good.
Let's
Don't
be
sleep on mason
very.
jars.
Let's be very
Both of
clear.
you.
Mason jars are great.
I'm
number one.
disappointed in both of
Number
you. Nick.
two.
What's the point of them? You take the jars and you just keep them for juice. Like what's
Well, you can use them for storage as well. if you
They're
want
like
to.
they're heat resistant. You can like pour like hot shit in it if you
You
need
can cook
to.
crack in them.
right? Like what? What do you mean? Are y'all just like
No.
Well, no,
Guys,
we have mason jars at our apartment. They're
I
they're
bought
useful.
some wax.
What is that, cocaine?
No. And I bought
Torrance got a
some
big ass bag of cocaine.
and I bought some essential oils.
Torrance, you should not be showing people this
And-
on video.
I bought some candle
they got
wicks.
vials? Are those vials?
Some candle
Torrance.
wicks.
Oh, you're making
I'll
candles?
be making
We
candles.
did that at our apartment.
Oh,
We'll
did
talk
you?
offline about that.
Okay, we'll have to
Crack
discuss. Yeah, so
candles.
I'm making candles.
That's tight that you're out here cooking crack
very
and showing
excited.
us
Anyway,
the stuff. Who's your connect?
this says soy wax, 100%
That's
soy
That's what
wax.
they had to
Supposed to-
use to ship it to you?
Yeah, you're supposed to.
That was like so we could get
Anyway,
through TSA? Through the Postal
Anyway, you
Service?
see, this is why I don't fuck with y'all. Because every time I try to be great, y'all hating ass niggas. You always take it to that next level.
This is the
and we not
negativity
even
we
there.
needed. This is what we fucking needed. This is the energy we
Oh
needed.
my goodness.
And if you think for 1 second for the next 30 minutes, I'm not gonna be on your ass, bro, fuck that. Anybody that's doing well during this time, bro, I'm coming for you, bro.
Well, one, I
Torrance,
don't believe they're doing well.
please share some good news that you've been going through so I can tear it down. Go ahead. You go first. Then Kyle.
Good news.
Oh, I finished the third draft of my script.
Third draft of your
Oh.
script. No one's gonna
Yes.
read it. But what was it? I'm sorry. No, I want to hear about it. What's
Can you share on air?
I'm sorry, that was ridiculous. But what? So by third draft, you mean like someone gave you edits and you did it for the third time?
Yes. So the second edit was me fixing those problems, and then the third edit was me basically redoing like 60% of the script because we had like a serious brainstorming. Like we were like writing shit down on a board. Like it was very intense, and it was great. And it just took me a while to kind of figure out how I wanted the story to go now with this new direction and this kind of expansion on the characters and where it can go. But I finished that, and so I sent that off for a couple people to read who have been very helpful in this script making process.
If you would like some unhelpful advice, I'm always free. You know.
Yeah, that's typically. So with each different revision, what I guess you just mentioned the last part. What were the biggest things that like the feedback you got that you had to change each time?
I think the biggest one for me is that to differentiate the voices of the characters. So having to, because some of the phrasing was very similar because I'm writing most of it, right? I'm doing most of the writing myself.
So your characters don't have different voices, kind of?
Exactly. So, and that wasn't something that I thought about. I mean, they did have different voices, but some of the vernacular was very similar in different characters. And that's not how that's not what you want to kind of show within the different characters. You want to show their uniqueness.
Were they all from Baltimore? Is there any characters in your show from Baltimore?
No.
Or on drugs?
No.
Have they been?
Why?
What's
Baltimore
the setting?
Drugs. Continue, niggas.
You're from Baltimore, so I asked if there was anyone from Baltimore.
Okay.
Andy asked about
Have they been
drugs.
to jail before?
No one's been to jail. Go ahead.
Are there black people in the show?
This is all
they-
black people.
Do they sell drugs?
What city do they live in? What can you tell us about your characters?
Are they?
What can you tell us?
This is what I can tell you about my characters. It is loosely based upon my life.
So, but no one's from Baltimore?
They're not from Baltimore. That's why I said loosely.
Okay.
Loosely based on my life.
Uh-huh.
My experience of moving to Los Angeles and attempting to go into the entertainment industry and the roadblocks that I've run up against within my first, year and a half. I've had some very interesting experiences, and I want to show resilience through this and friendship. That's what I'm going to show. Resilience and friendship.
So who's playing me in this fucking show?
And who's playing me?
Because let me tell you something. If for 1 second if you're gonna write me out of this fucking story, I'm suing your ass.
Me too. Joint plaintiffs. Coming for everything.
Who's
guys-
playing me?
Here's the thing. You guys are actually introduced. You guys are actually introduced in the second episode. So
It's as it should be. I'll play myself.
Which
As
will
long
be-
as you can just.
and this is the little fun thing, if you guys are introduced in the second episode, and it's all going to be set. Maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm going to say it anyway. All going to be set at a brunch. The entire
At a
second
brunch?
episode
At a brunch?
At a full brunch. All the shit goes down at a brunch, and it's going to be great.
So
The entire brunch scene is
Interesting.
the entire second episode.
I really want to read this whenever it's ready to be read.
For real. I'll definitely send it
I'm
to you.
excited.
Yeah,
when I get a
it's gonna be
chance
fun.
to
Honestly, I will say though, I'm gonna have to have a conversation with your costume designer because if they try to put me in some brunch boots and a brunch hat, I'm fighting your costume designer. So whenever
here's
your
the
show,
thing.
so
Here's the
whenever your
thing.
show gets to production, I'm just letting it be known now. I ain't wearing no brunch boots or no brunch hats.
just get a nice, cool little Asian man to play Kyle. Like just doesn't know a lot of English.
Only
like
if it's
broken
Kim Jong.
English.
I want Kim Jong, whatever the
Kyle,
dude.
you can't do that. Now you took it too far.
Kim Jong, not Kim Jong Un.
Didn't he die? Didn't
Oh, the
TMZ
little
say
doctor.
he died?
little
No,
Korean
I'm talking
doctor?
about the dude from Community The dude from The Hangover.
Oh, Ken.
Yes, I
Is it
said
nice?
Ken.
No, you said Kim.
At first, I might have, but then I corrected it to Ken.
Oh, okay. I was like, you talking
Nice,
about Kim?
polite.
You talking about somebody else?
I want Javante Rose to play me.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah,
I think
He's
that's
like
a
my height, ain't he?
I think that's like a miscast there. And
No,
I
actually,
don't
I think
think that-
Javante's.
I'd
I
have to
think
talk to the.
Javante's a fantastic young man to play me, and
I'd
I
have to
would
look
allow
at-
it. I'll allow that.
I would
I'll
have to
allow
look at
that.
the cat. I'd have to talk to the casting director about that, but I
You know,
don't think that he's a great
Michael Blackson is
representation of
usually
it.
available. He's
Javante, who else
hilarious.
could I get? The little, yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't know any other Denzel. Denzel's a little bit older now.
Denzel about 60 something.
We can do that little facial recognition shit they did on
Will
The
Smith.
Irishman.
The Irishman
Or
for
Will Smith in that one
Zell.
show.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give you some names after this, and then that's just like my approved list, and then we'll go
The
from there.
pre-approved names.
That'll be my approved list, and then everything else will be good to go. But yeah,
Honestly, does this
great.
conversation get us producer credits?
No.
For sure.
like to get some-
I'm an EP on it. For sure.
Here's the thing. The reason it doesn't is because anything that you say is merely you just saying. Like, you know what I mean?
So
Like,
you're not. So basically, what you're telling us is it's going in one ear, out the other.
in order
You're
for
saying
you to
fuck our
have a
suggestions.
production credit, you would have to have some type of influence in the production with the things that you're saying. and
It
you're
sounds
doing.
like I am.
And so here's
Yeah.
the problem with it
It
is that you're
sounds
not
like I am.
having any. Okay. Well, we'll see when the show gets.
I'm not gonna
picked
say
up.
anything else because if this motherfucker does one thing that sounds like me, I'm suing Torrance for everything he has. I guarantee you that I will come for everything.
Proof.
Okay, it'll be a fantastic piece of the biopic afterwards.
I would like to see proof.
I have
Me-
very good lawyers on my team.
It's gonna be me in the little chair, like Michael Jordan in The Last Dance doc. Like, yeah, nigga, it's shit. I'm gonna be fat as hell with a bald head. Like, yeah, I took this nigga for everything he had. Torrance was being selfish. Nigga knew he was.
And
he knew
I
Trevante
told him
was-
I was gonna do it too.
I told him Trevante. I said Trevante. He didn't want to do Trevante, so guess what? Now I own it.
See, you ain't want to listen. Now look, now it's my
Now look,
shit.
guess what? Now it's mine. I
See
wrote
this
this
house?
shit now.
See this house? Torrance built this shit, but it's my shit.
Torrance paid for this. That script he wrote? Yeah, that's mine. He paid for that.
I'm gonna gut this nigga Torrance for everything he got. I can't wait to sue this nigga. Oh my god.
So stupid. I hate you all.
Well, speaking of shit, and watching things in TV shows, what the fuck have y'all been watching? This purpose of this episode was just to talk about things we've been watching, and then we spent the first however many minutes talking shit. But can we talk about Black as Fuck?
Yeah,
Or
let's
no?
talk about that.
You-
Initial, how did y'all feel like in the first two or I guess how did you feel about the show overall? Let's start there.
Okay. Go ahead, Danny, because I know you've been
Itching, fiending to talk about it.
As a Black scholar, as a member of the Black Scholar Society, I think
Who's
it
that
was
chaired by? Dr. Umar?
Yeah. He's
Okay.
he's the the chapter chairman. But anywho, thy as a Black
Die. You're garbage.
as a thy
Better? Worse?
per. No, I think it is. When I first watched it, I didn't know what to expect. It's different, but it's not different. It's different in the sense of the topic in which they touch, but the style of it is very similar to things that we've seen in the past.
Mm-hmm.
The Office, the Curb Your Enthusiasms, the even Blackish,
Yeah.
to a degree. So it took me a second to understand what it was. And then once I understood what it was, then I was like addicted to it. But if you're someone that just watches the first episode,
You're gonna hate it.
I could see how. I mean, I enjoyed it, but I could see how you don't like. Oh, this is. I don't know about this. Because for me, even Blackish, like I've probably seen 20 to 30 episodes of Blackish, but I don't necessarily I don't appointment watch Blackish.
Neither.
And
I watch it, but I don't appointment.
I'll
watch
like
it.
binge it. I like to binge like 2 episodes at a time, like twice a month.
Mm-hmm.
But that's really about it.
Yeah, I would say, like, for me, it kind of felt like it was like spicy blackish in a way. I mean, naturally that makes sense since it's a King of Bear. They're both King of Bear shows. That naturally makes sense. But it realistically just felt that way, that it was a little more like mature content and language. Personally, I legitimately did not audibly laugh in the first 2 episodes. And like it was a bit of a slow burn, but I was gonna give it a shot. It's only 8 episodes or so, so I was like, fuck it, might as well watch the whole thing. But as the season progressed, it got a lot funnier to me. And by the end of it, I loved it. I think I'm gonna give it another rewatch, like without having a phone in my hand, like solely paying attention to it, because I know I missed like some random jokes here and there, and like some random points that were probably important down the line or whatever. But I thought it was good, and it really didn't deserve the hate that it as much hate as it did get. I'll say it that way.
Yeah,
ahead,
I can concur. So when I I think overall was a really good show. To me it was like, oh, Parks and Rec, but like black and all black. And
I don't watch Parks and Rec.
I'm here for it. See,
Great
I
show. Great show if you can push through the first
Rec.
season.
If you can push through the first season of Parks and Rec, like I literally start Parks and Rec by like the 3rd season, honest. 3rd and 4th season. I start from there, then I watch the rest of it. But the first episode, I understood it. Like it's that kind of funny, like if you don't like The Office, Parks and Rec, Curb Your Enthusiasm, where you take one joke and you beat it into the ground and you find different angles to approach this one joke and make it be funny and whatever. If you're not able to appreciate that kind of comedy, you're not going to like the show.
Mm-hmm.
That's the first thing.
Like example of that is like the middle son is like a habitual liar.
He just lies yeah, exactly.
And then they just like completely went away from that in the back half of the season. But in the front half, they beat that horse dead as fuck.
You know,
it was funny though.
It was very funny. I think the part that catches and turns everyone off is that initial scene where he's talking to his assistant in the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
That scene, I was over it. I was like, oh, this? I do not like this.
It was about them going to the festival or something?
It was about them going to, no. What? No, it wasn't even a festival yet. It wasn't even a festival time yet. It was before that. It was about him having to be like he was talking about his chain. And then they beat it real. They took that joke and they went a little far with that one. And I don't think it was funny. I honestly did not laugh that entire scene. And I was like, okay, so maybe people are right. And then I kept watching and I was like, oh, this shit's hilarious. Oh, this is absolutely a hilarious.
Maybe,
show.
I don't know if it was the best pilot.
That wasn't the best pilot.
It wasn't the best pilot.
It just was a bad pilot, I think, in my opinion. But the rest of the series, I thought it was actually very funny.
I mean, the vacation shit was. It was
amazing.
It was less, I think, funny than like it was truly like a finale kind of vibe, more less than like, oh, I'm getting weak. But I thought it was really good. I think the one that I think I remember laughing the most was when they hosted the family, the cookout shit, and the cousin was talking
Greg.
about the story of. I mean, like, not to say Torrance's story is anywhere like that, but like it reminds me of when people were pitching you ideas of shit, and he's like, "So the shit is about me, and I'm fucking like." It's just like we all know somebody like that, or we've been that person trying to tell somebody an idea, and that shit. And it's just like anybody that's been successful, or you going to the rich uncle's house, your rich cousin's house, you know that's how niggas is, because most niggas are not.
That shit where he was like, put away all the laptops, hide everything that you like. That shit was hilarious.
Why their laptops in the dryer? Put the laptop back in the dryer. Shut up, bro. Like, what you mean? Like, that kind of shit is hilarious because it's like, it's
real.
It's relatable. It's funny. It's like, oh shit. Like, I don't know. I felt like it got a lot of shit for that first, for that pilot episode. Like, even I was talking to my family about it. My sister watched the pilot and she couldn't get through the pilot.
My mom hated it.
Yeah, she's like, I turned it off. I'm not doing it.
I told her, I saw her this weekend though, and I was like, you need to go back and like give it a shot. Just watch it all the way through. but she didn't like all like the extra like cursing and some of the extra.
Yeah, I don't think it,
Yeah,
I
but
don't.
just-
I, don't, I think it's probably not for the like.
No, it's
that
I told her
generation.
it's not for her demo, but I was like, if you keep watching, you might like it a little bit more.
Yeah,
I think she
it's
only watched
honestly,
the
but
first
it's not like
episode.
for young people either. I really feel like it's that. I mean, it's perfect for our age and like a little bit older of like people who are just starting to see some success.
Gen
Adult.
X,
Yeah.
Like yeah,
like people in like their 40s and stuff like that.
the first part of millennials and like the shit before niggas before like really 25 to 40 is like I think a lot of people would love that. I mean, even a little because I think Kenya's like 45 or so, something like that.
So I mean, I talk a little bit about this, but like the family dynamic is what I appreciated the most. It showed how different each child was. Number one,
Yes, very
and then,
different.
Number two, how them as parents, how they interact with the child, and it was so like. To me, it seemed like really outrageous. You know what I mean? Like, and I think that's what it was supposed to be. It was supposed to be this dramatization of just like him being like, "Wow, you're like, I really hate you. I really hate you as my daughter," or like, "You're an awful mother. Like, wow, you really ain't shit. Like, you really
Get on my
suck as a
nerves,
mother.
yeah.
Like, you get on my damn nerves." Like that kind of stuff. It was so funny because it was that extreme level of just like
It was
in a relationship and being crazy.
It felt like what a normal, quote unquote, normal person's like inner monologue would be in conversation, but it's just how he actually spoke outwardly to his kids and to his wife.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, Curb. If anyone that watches Curb, that is it. Pretty much is like the black. Larry David doesn't have a family really on Curb. I only watched the last 2 seasons of Curb, so I'm not like a Curb, whatever.
I think he's just married in the show.
Yeah,
He just married with us.
but I've only watched the last 2 seasons, and I thought it was hilarious. I just haven't really had the desire to like rewatch the whole series in its totality. But long story short, it's the exact same vibes of this dude who's in the show. He's pretty much playing himself. Like he's successful. Everyone knows who he is, and then he just like is often pessimistic and annoyed by shit all the time. You know.
Yeah.
And Larry, I just thought it was maybe because I'm naturally very annoyed by things often, whether it be, you know, work people or whatever. I'm just like on edge a little bit more times than not. And I don't always like visibly or verbally say it, but I'm just like, oh God, like please not. Like my neighbor's outside watering his plants. Like I'll just wait 5 minutes until he goes inside because I don't want to talk. Like,
yeah,
and that's just the show constantly. Every scene is something around that, and it's a little bit of like inspiration for people like us. Like shit, I want to be rich and have a fucking big ass house and have kids and you know wear Gucci suits every day and Dior.
Yeah,
shit.
I appreciated how like over the top unapologetically black it was, and it was like, yeah, we rich and we black and we gonna put it in y'all fucking faces because who the fuck cares?
He talked about like private jets and even I'm sorry before you talk even like when they talked about the older kids and it was like yeah we didn't grow up rich we had to like whatever and the younger kids were like you didn't have a maid like what you didn't have how'd you do your fucking dishes and that's
we wash
crazy
dishes
too.
ourselves.
A lot of these people go through that as black professionals.
What I saw on the internet that really struck me was the way that they talked about Rashida Jones.
Oh God.
What was that about? Because
being-
they said she wasn't black enough?
She wasn't black enough to be on the show, which is what they touched on the show.
They did.
By
Matter of
saying,
fact, sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, go. Please keep going.
No. So it's like they touched on how she felt like she needed to be blacker than everyone else because she was half white.
Yeah.
And there were people on Twitter being like, so we calling Rashida Jones black? And they're like, her daddy is Quincy Jones. One of the blackest black-ass niggas has been out here in the game. Like, changed the game when it comes to the music industry for black artists, like, specifically. Like, has a huge hand in how black music was absorbed and
Quincy Jones is the biggest producer
world.
of all time.
Of all time. Like,
full
literally.
stop.
Definitely at least modern music, you know.
Like for real. So
Full
the
stop.
fact that was sort of that conversation of just like blackness and whiteness and how, you know, I think it was very strategic of Kenya to pick her, Rashida Jones, a mixed person, and then to also talk about it. I thought it was amazing.
His
I
wife
thought
was
that
very fair skinned in real life too, though.
Yeah.
I-
Exactly.
and exactly. And that's what I mean. Like, I love the conversations around it was very intentional. Like, everything he did was to start a conversation, and it's doing that, I think, anyway.
I'm blank first for one on the Rashida Jones things. I think it's fucking so stupid that people come for that, because it's like, back in the olden days, if she was half black, she would have been a slave regardless. So
Obama's
been a
half
slave, I
fucking
consider you
black.
black.
Niggas, I
Love
you know,
to claim people when it's convenient.
When
That's
it's convenient.
Yeah.
I hate that shit.
that is trash to me.
Hate it. And then the other thing, I'm struggling to remember specific details right now, since I watched this like over a week ago at this point. But a lot of the stuff that people were killing the show for and killing Kenya specifically were online are like things he actually went and talked about at various points in the show.
Like,
he they would say XYZ thing about this, and then he would have a whole segment in an episode where they're specifically talking about that singular issue right there.
Yeah.
It's like, y'all are so unaware of how great this content is, where the same thing that you're bullshitting about online and complaining about, he's already talked about. He's already made a point about it.
the episode about the black creators it wasn't as funny of an episode, but it was a very interesting episode.
it was very truthful.
because it's like, yeah, we see shit, and sometimes, as we talked about this before, like, as consumers of black shit, as black people, we're for some reason hyper critical of our own stuff, and we give other people so much more bail.
they get room. They have
all the
room
bail.
to
And
fuck
it's
up.
like damn, bro, like, whatever. I was being funny and talking about anime and Game of Thrones and stuff, and people swear by it. So that's maybe not the best example, but like, this nigga made a show about us, for us, and then all of a sudden people saying this is a black show for white people. I'm like, what about this is
the
for
main white
people?
person in the show gets verbally abused for the entire
Right,
fucking
yeah.
series.
Right,
and
like
the thing is this,
the
treated
white
like
boy
shit.
works for the black dude the whole time.
And I'm gonna tell you why I think that, and maybe I'm gonna get canceled for this, but I feel like black people felt this way because a lot of people don't see themselves in that space.
Of course
Right.
not.
They don't see themselves. They don't visually see themselves in the future being in that light of having that amount of money, experiencing that sort of thing, which is really
interesting because people love caping for rich people.
Love it. So my thing is, I saw myself in that, not because I'm a rich nigga who has all that kind of money and lived that life where I could go and do all those things and live that life, but I saw myself because I know that will be me. And
it's aspirational.
It's aspirational as fuck. Like, it was, I don't know. I just feel like it got way too much shit for being very authentic and very real to an experience that I don't necessarily know about. I don't mean it for
like,
white people.
I would love to have enough money to the point where I can take enough private jet trips where I would go bankrupt off of it.
Right. I think you know what's crazy about niggas is, and I was being funny about Torrance and stuff earlier, but you look at The Chi and how much love The Chi has gotten as of late. But you look at if you watch The Chi, the whole show is about people struggling. Like, every single person on that show, whether you're a police officer or a single mother or a kid, is struggle, death, all that, drug use, alcoholism, mental health, and people are locked into it. And never once, even with some of the faults of that show, that no show's perfect other than maybe a couple ever, no one really gives it that same level of criticism because the show is about negativity and the black struggle, and no one claims that this is a show made for.
Well, that's because blackness
people.
is inherently tied to poverty and struggle.
Right.
And
so
but
the first time
wealth.
some niggas come up with a show that's about being in a mansion, employing white people that work for you, going on vacation,
having 30 maids and housekeepers and shit,
and then now all of a sudden, getting housekeepers and having black ass cousins who are ratchet as fuck. All of a sudden, he's Uncle Tom. Like, bro, that's how some people live, bro.
Exactly.
And that's not only reserved for whiteness. Like, white people have the corner on that market of success and affluence and the ability to have a maid, to do all these things, or a driver to drop you off, or have the funds to get a private jet to do all these things. Like the fact that that's tied to it, it's really a fucked up system in niggas' heads. Like for real.
People think the Black experience is a singular item, which is poverty and brokenness and sadness.
Yeah. Another thing that came up that pissed me off was the colorism aspect of it. Like there wasn't enough Black people.
Oh, like darker skin, Black people and stuff like that.
That really never came. As I was watching it, I never felt like, oh, there's not enough Black kids in his family. Like, first of all, he's light skinned as hell, and his wife is light skinned as hell in real life.
So what do you want to have a Theo Huxtable, like a, you know what I'm saying? Like you want a dark skinned some random son? You're gonna be like, how the fuck did that kid pop out?
Yeah, it would have taken away from everything that it's supposed to be. Like the daughter who was second oldest, she was a little bit dark and caramel, whatever. But like ultimately, this is this nigga's family, bro. Like this is a Black story.
This is what it looks like when you have
right. And you look at. I'm like looking at even Ashley, for example. Ashley is very fair skinned, but both her parents are darker complexion. So like even still as a Black, my mom is bronze, like literally. Like you would think she's from an island somewhere. Like Black people coming. Kyle's parents.
My mom is light skinned and has green eyes, and she is Black.
Yeah. So like it just pisses me off when people just like try to find these small shitty quote unquote casting faults because it's not Black enough, when like all these
they're
other
looking
shows,
for online outrage. That's all it is.
Yeah, like but it's like
because it didn't show.
If he doesn't get renewed for another season, then we're gonna swap this in with a documentary about fucking slavery or the Central Park 5 or I'm
gonna be
drug
pissed.
addiction.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be pissed because to me, this was a show that showed a different side of Blackness that I don't, and that's why I think it, like I said, everything was very intentional. Calling it Black as fuck, obviously that's a play on that.
The
shit.
Episode titles,
the episode titles, all of that, everything was very strategic. Like literally, like hats off to fucking Kenya Barris because this shit was really, really good. If you take it from a creative lens, if you look at it from a pure entertainment lens versus this isn't accurate because.
Not everything needs a fucking think piece. That's what I want to say. Not every TV show needs to have a think piece written about it or some like critically acclaimed essay. Take it for what it is. It's a piece of content. Watch it or don't watch it.
Yeah, y'all are getting on my nerves. Y'all are pissing me off. That was
disappointing to me. I'm like, bruh, y'all give all these weak ass shows series after series, season after season. Y'all talk about them all day long. And it's like, bro.
But then they want to complain that there's not enough Black people on TV or there's not enough Black content.
It was so disappointing.
You got these little ass kids who are in this show, who are acting, who are doing their thing.
And the kids were good.
The kids were good. They were
I thought
funny.
The kids were good.
Yeah. Like
they really didn't miss. To me, they didn't miss on the acting part. Like even like, and I didn't realize the show was very, very accurate. Like the little girl's boyfriend legit got drafted this week. Like he was legitimately an athlete. I think he went to Cal instead of USC, but like this low key was really, because I didn't realize Blackish was loosely based off of his life. Like his wife was named Rainbow in real life, Tracy Ellis Ross's character or whatever. But I guess after that the kids weren't the same and all this kind of shit. But like this is a lot, like you said, a lot more raw of a Blackish, a lot more cussing, a lot more like real life issues because it's Netflix versus ABC.
Yeah, they don't have to worry about the censorship.
That shit was so disappointing. I'm like, you niggas are so disappointing. Is it the best Black show ever made, or even made in the last 5 years? No, I don't think so. I don't think it's the most even funny. I could think of I think Insecure was written funnier and better than this.
Yes,
but Insecure is probably going to go down as one of the top Black shows
of this generation.
I think
for sure.
I mean, this generation easy, but I think when it's all said and done, you'll be able to put Insecure up against a Martin or a Fresh Prince. And that might seem like a hot take now, but I truly think when you look at what it did for the culture and the funniness and the people that it broke.
And the last time there was a classic like this, right? Because it will be considered a classic.
Yeah, it will be considered a classic of the era, yeah.
You look at, was it fourth season now?
Yes.
Yeah, they're on
So,
the
I mean,
fourth season.
now you're in
they're
that
talking,
rare air.
obviously, and they're already talking about the 5th season. So,
Right.
like, how they're going to film for that with all this COVID shit happening, you know, obviously.
You're in that rare air
watched,
fourth season.
I watch her and Amanda Seales kind of go back and forth in their little thing that they do. But I don't know. I just feel like it, like you said, Danny, it wasn't like, oh, this is the best thing since this is the best content I've seen or whatever. I don't think it was even going for that. I think it was going for being something different, showing a life that is different than what some people can conceive. And I think that that's what came out. A lot of people are like, oh, this ain't real. This is for white people who have da-da-da-da. I'm like, oh, but there are also black people who have all that. There are also...
You forgot Netflix gave him $100 million for a reason.
For a reason. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I feel like Kenya Barris, I think he did a great job on this. I hope one day in life he hears this shit, because I'm standing for him right now, because this is a good ass series.
Absolutely.
And it did not deserve the criticism it got. For people who only watched half of the first episode and said, oh, I can't watch this shit.
Or even two episodes.
Two episodes. Keep that same energy for all that
bro.
other white shit that y'all be watching and forcing yourself through. Oh, you just got to get through the first 3-4 episodes, and then it gets good. You're not even
because it'd be like
because
we even said it earlier. We were like Parks and Rec. You got to get through the whole first season.
You gotta
wait.
And then after that, it's an amazing show.
15 hours of your life, and then only then.
But this is 8 30-minute episodes.
Yeah.
You niggas gave it 28 minutes to say, you know what, this is not for me.
Like the thing when they were buying the drugs from the guy in the car, like that shit was funny.
That shit was hilarious.
Before they went to the rave, they went to Lil Fair, that shit was fucking hilarious.
Even the rave was funny, just seeing
the
them
rave,
dance
that was like funny. It was like, okay, the part where like they ran to their kids, like they were all drugs, like that would be like a hilarious situation. Like if you ran into your parents out,
be like, are you on drugs?
Are you on drugs right now?
Are you
on drugs?
Like,
yeah,
no.
like that would be like a super awkward but hilarious like interaction if you actually put yourself like in the shoes of the characters.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, at the end of the day, I feel like people hate on shit that they aren't comfortable with, and I think. And this, like I said, this is maybe a hot take. Maybe I'm gonna be canceled for this. But affluence around black people, a lot of people don't like that. A lot of people don't see
that's
themselves
not a hot
in that.
take.
They don't.
That's
they don't
real.
see
That's
themselves
a real,
in
that's
that
a real thing.
space. And I feel like it's detrimental to our community to not have more things showing that affluence. Like the Cosby Show was so great because it showed that affluence, and it showed like
Fresh Prince.
Fresh Prince was so great because it showed that affluence. But I think it did it in a way that was it was less.
It was in the background. This was very. I mean, you saw it in their face. You saw it in their house, and like the Smiths had like on Fresh Prince they had a butler, but like this was like the big house, the cars, the private jet. It was extravagant.
X amount of dollars on this black ass painting, painting that's just there. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I hated how much controversy it got. The more and more I kind of like read about it and just kind of delved into it.
I'm definitely gonna give it a rewatch now.
Yeah,
this
I feel
week
like
I think
it was poorly done as far as like the way that people responded to it. Like it's just the bad.
And this is all within like 72 hours of it being out too. That was the craziest part about it. Like this shit
fresh.
I watched it straight through every episode, and it still took me 2 full days to watch all of it. So if you niggas that have all these crazy opinions by Monday morning when it just dropped Friday evening,
you gotta let it marinate a bit more.
Yeah, y'all just black people, y'all really disappoint me because I like you said, we give Parks and Rec shit. We gave The Wire season 2 a whole watch. We do all this shit that niggas create.
I watched the last 2 seasons of The Office.
That is painful.
Post Michael Scott, come on now.
Well, here's the thing: I enjoyed less Michael Scott things than anything else because. He pissed me off.
But the show did go downhill after he left.
The show went downhill.
Keep it
but
above.
Still, very, 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 very.
No, still great, but it went downhill.
Still good shit, but it went downhill.
Moving forward, I guess. What else have y'all been watching? Keeping yourself entertained with? Anything you would recommend?
Speaking of some white shit, I watched Big Little Lies on HBO.
Okay, I've heard very good things about that.
So that one is with like Reese Witherspoon.
Reese be in her bag.
Reese be in her fucking bag.
Because she's in her bag on Hulu right now too.
Okay, indeed. I haven't watched that yet. I haven't started it, but I'm gonna start that literally today. I think that's the other show, Little Fires Everywhere. I haven't started that, but for Big Little Lies, that's with Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman, and Meryl Streep comes in season 2. Like, and Zoe Kravitz is in it. Like, it's just really good. It's a really good, like, very white, very like suburban, small town, white drama shit, but very good show that I've watched.
True.
There are other ones too, but I'll let y'all go.
Danny, what you got for the people?
I've been watching documentaries. I've been trying to watch documentaries.
Yes, we've been watching a lot of documentaries over here.
What the fuck is in there? I was just watching last night. It was about Gary Shandling, my boy Kevin Buck. He put me on. Oh, the Zen Diaries of Gary Shandling, which is pretty dope comedy.
What is that about?
Judd Apatow put it out a couple years ago, and it's about this comedian Gary Shandling. You've seen his face probably or heard of him. I didn't know too much about him until I watched this. I knew of him, but I didn't know a lot about him. But just another comedian, LA-based comedian, and he died of a heart attack a couple years ago, and just about his life. And as a comedian, someone who misses comedy, and even in general, I think now is a great time to watch documentaries, because when you watch a documentary, you have that hour and a half, 2 hours of watching it, and then if you're like me, you spend another hour, 2 hours researching
diving into
the whole news. Now that you've learned all this shit for 2 hours, now it's like, oh, is this person dead? Or
go down a Wikipedia rabbit hole.
You just entertain for you end up 4 hours of your evening, you're entertained looking up where are they now, think pieces.
I will also say I like balancing like regular shows with documentaries. It makes me turn my brain on it a bit more, you know what I'm saying? So it's not just turning to complete mush.
Yeah.
We watched How to Fix a Drug Scandal. That one is really, really good.
That's the one on Netflix.
That's on Netflix. It's about the 2 cases where one woman, she was she worked at a drug testing laboratory for like the feds up in Massachusetts or whatever, state police or whatever. And she was taking samples and getting high at work while she was testing these things or whatever. And then like another person, she was falsely filing reports on drug tests, like in criminal cases. Like
saying, oh, they're guilty.
So she would test. So like in a drug case, like if you get caught with crack, they send it to a lab to certify that it's crack. So these people ran those tests in the labs. So she was like not even testing some stuff and being like, yeah, it's crack. Or like, yeah, that's heroin. So people were going to jail for X amount of years, and for some of the stuff she literally didn't even test
for acetaminophen.
Like the samples.
That's crazy.
So like that's a really good documentary. And then the other day we watched College Behind Bars. It's about a federal penitentiary in upstate or in New York somewhere, and about some group people, men and women, who are doing college program with Bard College while they're behind bars in prison. Sounds like super, super interesting as well. It's like 4 episodes.
I can't watch depressing shit right now.
No, it's not depressing though. It's like actually low-key inspiring, because like these dudes are like actually smart as fuck. And it's like they're doing a whole course load of college while they're in prison, essentially like getting their associate's degrees or their bachelor's degrees. So it's kind of uplifting. You do get some of that prison grime story, of course, but it's really nice. Like you see some of the guys get out of jail and like seeing them do better towards like afterwards and shit like that. But
yeah, that's
also
SNL.
I know the episodes can be kind of hit or miss, but I just wanted to big them up for how they've been able to adapt to the coronavirus. Like all the actors, comedians film their own segments at home, and then they'll throw edits on it and stuff like that. And I know like Dr. Fauci had answered a question saying that he would want Brad Pitt to play him like in a biopic or something like that, and they have Brad Pitt impersonate Fauci for the opening monologue. So I thought that was super dope.
Yeah, that I watched some of the skits, and
some of the skits are bad, but some of them are decent. I mean,
it's fascinating, man, as a people, how we can adjust during these times. And I thought it was super clever for what they could do. And yeah, I think SNL, if SNL wants to truly, I don't want to be like super crazy and say stick around, but if they do want to stick around, and be relevant, because I think it's lost some of its relevance. They gotta spice it up. And this from a writer standpoint, for me, the best part of SNL every single week is the weekly news update with Colin.
That's the best segment.
That's the
Absolutely.
best segment.
That is the best
both
segment.
of them,
best segment.
I think Che's one of my favorite. I mean, he inspires me one of the, a lot as a comedian.
Period. Yeah.
I like his stand-up.
His sense of humor is very similar to mine to a degree. I think Colin Jost, as far as white boys, he's like the kind of white boys that I'm friends with, just like very self-aware, but also not like apologizing for every somewhat racist thing he says, just be a human around him. And I think they're like very raw to a degree for as much as they can be.
As much as they can be on that show specifically. Right. But I think the other thing, going off what you were saying, is I think SNL needs some people to have enormous careers outside of SNL, like after they've left the show. You
think not really doing that anymore,
like Eddie Murphy was 25 when he was on SNL or something like that, and then ended up becoming like the biggest movie star in Hollywood.
Yeah, Seth Meyers.
There's been
a lot of guys.
Tina Fey, I believe she was on SNL back in the day. But a lot of the people who are on now, they're great like sketch artists and stuff like that, but they don't end up having like the enormous movie careers, or even like a Will Ferrell, stuff like that. I mean,
it's a long list that I'm blanking on, but yeah, Will Ferrell. I mean, that era, Will Ferrell. A lot of those guys went on to be
the early 2000s.
Chris Rock. A lot of these guys went through SNL in the past, say, decade. You look at what's the black dude who always did the impressions?
Chris Redd.
No, Chris Redd. He's
Farrell.
Actually pretty funny.
Yeah, Jay Farrell.
It's like niggas like that who left, and you thought they was potentially going to
blow up and be like this crazy. And it's like, damn, like not so much.
He had that one show on Showtime, and it was like not that good.
I didn't even watch it.
I watched it, and I was like, this was disappointing. This was awkwardly bad on Showtime. It was like, it's called White Famous. And I'm like, damn, this is not funny. Yeah. But like the first episode or two was hilarious, and you just realize this person cannot carry
a whole show by himself.
They can't,
because he's just so much of it is impressions and not like him genuinely being funny. But yeah, that helps a lot too when these people can go on and leave, and you because then you see it, people that try to go on SNL as like, oh, instead of me just want to be a weird improv person, I want to go on SNL to be a movie star and be like a really big time.
Use it as a trajectory.
Yeah, so you get a different kind of person that wants to be on SNL as whereas now I feel like a lot of stand-up comedians don't necessarily see SNL as much as a desirable place, more so than like improv people do.
Yeah.
Improv and stand-up, there are similarities, but they're very different.
Very different.
And a lot of those people like Tina Fey and stuff, they started improv and they, whatever. But just now, I don't know if there's a whole lot of stand-up comedians. I mean, Chris Redd's a stand-up. There's a couple people that are on that cast that are stand-ups, but
most of them are strictly improv.
I feel like a lot of them are improv, kind of like, when put like this, when they're out of season, there's only a handful of them that do stand up, like Pete Davidson, Chris Redd. I think the Melissa chick does stand up, and like that might be it. Like Keenan doesn't really do stand up.
Mikey Day used to be on Wild 'N Out back in the day.
Mikey Day,
if you remember that.
Michael Chase is stand up. But so it's just like, it's not, out of whatever, 13, 14 people, like a third of them might be stand-ups. And, I'm a stand-up, so I'm going to be biased. But I just think they got to just, it's network television, so there's only so much they can do. But you got to be able to not just be relevant when it's election time.
Yeah, I also don't think they've really had any classic sketches in a very long time.
Right. And it's always, but you look at when they get like the black people, like a Drake or a Chance or whatever, it's like the shows all of a sudden, there's always 2 or 3 sketches that are like hilarious.
Dave Chappelle, Eddie Murphy, when they came back and did this shit,
it's like it's a different show almost.
It's a whole different show.
It's flavor. It's seasoning in the water.
And honestly, I feel like that is something that they are not like. I feel like that scares white people.
There really needs to be a big effort to create a black SNL, and I think that some people have tried it with like the Astronomy Book Club on Netflix and stuff like that, and the Black Women sketch comedy show.
Perspectives.
Yeah,
you gotta have.
I don't think necessarily fully black, but I would like to flip the percentages. So the percentage that's white on SNL would be black. And then
Because I'm gonna tell you what,
you
in
have your
Living Color,
Shays, Keenans.
in Living Color is still fucking hilarious when I watch it.
I will say
You know
that,
what I
but I
mean?
think Living Color, things that what was cool about in Living Color was they also touched on, gay people, and they had Jim Carrey. So I think you can have a very black-ass show, don't get me wrong, with sketch, but sketch is such a different thing than like stand-up, because sketch you have to create your own little world in like 5
It's a
minutes.
character, like it literally
it's
is
characters.
like it's character like development.
like Chappelle Show, which is, to my opinion, the best sketch show ever made.
It is.
Is black people in every episode, but it comes from a very universal place where white people can understand, like, oh, we're fucked up. Like, we are racist. We do, like, I could imagine if there was a blind KKK person, like, it has to be something that is for us, but also we're only a certain part of the community. So it has to be able to be digested by everybody. I think
I wasn't initially saying that to saying it would be like a BET special, you know what I'm saying? But
right.
like,
No, but I'm sorry. You talked about the astronomy club shit.
well, yeah, like those
I
ones.
tried to
think,
watch it. It was
I
like,
think
this
those
is
go too far, and then they're kind of just very overly cheesy.
It was it was more so cheesy than anything.
It was cheesy.
It felt very improv-y.
Because even the stuff in between the actual sketches, like when they were in the house and like the Ice Cube
just
Day
wasn't
stuff,
I think
it
there's a
didn't
level,
hit right.
and I think back then there wasn't this looming political correctness that was hanging over their heads, where, like, in Living Color and the Chappelle Show, there wasn't as looming, like,
everyone's afraid to get canceled.
Like, I have to be as politically correct as I can to make sure that I'm not offending everyone, and at the end of the day, like, somebody's going to be offended. You're going to offend somebody. And
you can't not offend everyone and still be funny.
Great sketch comedy comes from offending or being ridiculous. Like,
it's
being
a premise. It starts with a legitimate, real life premise
experience, and then taking it and doing the most ridiculous with it, right? Like, you think about a blind black man being a part of the KKK. Like, you think about this family. Their last name is called, they're the nigger family. like, bro, like, that
one
to
crazy
me
nigger.
is one of the, like, that is one of the funniest sketches I've ever seen in my entire life.
Oh my God, I forgot about that sketch.
And
because you see white people for the 4 minutes, you see white people saying nigger
for the whole time.
The initial shock of like, oh, what the fuck? And then you just dive into it, like, oh, like, now this is reality. So now let me see how far they go to it. But like some of these sketch shows you see, it's like, even like the Black Lady sketch. There was one that was funny that they did. I can't remember.
The Hotep one?
Maybe that's what it was.
That one was decent.
The Black Hotep one.
Yeah, that was decent.
That was pretty funny.
Yeah.
But it was like, and we're kind of being hypocrites because we just talked about loving Black people shit for, the first hour of this podcast or 45 minutes. But I do think within reason, put like this.
If it ain't funny, it ain't funny.
You can be honest.
Funny, and I definitely gave it a chance.
I watched every single episode.
I'll go in with open arms. But yeah, if something's not funny, it's not funny. And I think these people, when they realize their shit isn't funny because they're, whatever. I think people know when their shit isn't good or when it is good, and people. And like, because you also know that there's like a cult following for stuff that, like, all right, this isn't for everybody versus they didn't execute well on this. And I think for the Black Lady sketch show or like the astronomy club, I think some of it was like a talent thing, or these people weren't necessarily just like as dynamic as you would like for them to be in their characters. And I think the premises of what they were trying to get off weren't compelling enough for me to be like, oh, that's funny as shit. Like Chappelle's show tackled legitimate. What if the mall was the internet? Like, that's hilarious. What the
what
nigger
if niggas
family
got reparations?
Yes,
what?
mad real right. That's relevant yesterday.
The reparations episode is amazing.
It's hilarious.
So that's gonna be this summer with all the stimulus checks.
It's these things that you can do that instead of just talking about, oh, Black people love Kool-Aid and let's make a sketch about different flavors of Kool-Aid and shit like that, or Black, I'm Black in the neighborhood and I can't get in the office because I look certain. Like I don't know.
It's like it's different when you're making sketches based off of black tropes that are really overdone versus like you're actually taking something from real life that most black people do experience in some way, shape, or form, or that we can relate to because we have a natural black experience, you know what I'm saying? Which was the Chappelle Show. Some of the other ones I think that the new shows really miss out on. They're really playing up on the tropes.
Yeah, I would love to see a new black sketch show. I think it has to be on a Showtime or HBO or a.
I mean, you can do it on Comedy Central.
It got to be uncensored.
Comedy Central would do it.
I think it just has to be. It has to be uncensored. I think,
absolutely.
I think Key and Peele was really funny too, though.
It was. I mean, it was. I think they were kind of hurt by being on the same network as Chappelle, and it looked like just Comedy Central was trying to find the new Chappelle Show. But I thought that it was a good show.
And then it also didn't come
different,
at a good time for them. It didn't come at a good time for them. Whereas I feel like Key and Peele would be a lot more successful had that shit come out right now, or had it come out 2 years ago. It would have been a lot more successful.
The era was different. Like the social media wasn't as big back then when it was still on live.
I still see their videos now.
Because I stumble upon them and I'm like, oh,
they're
fuck.
funny. The substitute teacher joint, Ron.
Yeah.
Like that's I was like, oh, this is actually funny as hell. Like
it was a funny show.
That's crazy that I couldn't, I wasn't aware of it at that time to truly tune in and watch it. Or whatever when it came on Comedy Central. So I don't know. I like you said, it can't and like even now, like with it being everything streaming service, it has to be on a streaming service. It has to be on those or a premium network, or else it'll get lost in the sauce. Like I'm watching a show right now that's coming on Freeform, but if I hadn't watched it or caught it early and decided, oh, let me go ahead and watch this episode because it keeps popping up on my shit, whatever. Because I like witchy shit. I like little magic and shit like that. I like that kind of witchy shit.
Witchy shit.
It's called. No, it's actually very interesting. It's very entertaining.
We've had these conversations. We've watched some of these similar shows before.
Yeah, exactly. You don't like witchy shit?
Danny's face was frozen for so long. It looked like I thought his computer was frozen.
You don't like witchy thing? I like witchy thing.
I hate that you're calling it witchy things.
I like sports, action, and comedy. That's my realm.
Exactly. And see,
we gotta expand your horizons.
Anything outside of that, I'm not watching that shit.
I know you're not. You're limited. You gotta expand that.
Yeah, Danny's like a picky eater.
Cause guess
he
what?
Goes to the restaurant and order chicken fingers.
Cause you know why? My second script is gonna be witchy shit. So I hope you fuck with me long enough to listen to it or watch it.
Some black witchy shit.
Black witchy shit.
I support that.
Can't wait to have some black witchy shit out here in these streets.
I think there's some new black witchy shit on Netflix. Matter of fact, remind me to go find it later. I saw it when I was scrolling through Twitter, but remind me.
All right, it's been episode 136 of 95
okay. But at any rate, if it's on a regular streaming, if it's not on a streaming service or a HBO subscription or Showtime or Stars or whatever, it's gonna get lost. It's going to get, in the vortex. And Magicians, for example, I fuck with Magicians, love it. I have to watch it. I had to watch the final season. I had to make sure I get on and watch it online because I don't watch television like that, regular TV.
I don't have sci-fi.
Exactly. So.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Little weird ass. Huh? Those little just weird baby ass channel. I mean, even ABC, those kind of things. It's just tough. It's just tough to really make a good show on those networks, man. Because it's so middle America driven that you really can't take any risks.
No, you have to be overly safe. And some of those shows are funny as shit, but you do have to be like Brooklyn Nine-Nine or Superstore. Like some of those 3-channel letter sitcoms or whatever, like Fox is on ABC. It's they're decent shows, but you can only go but so far.
I thought Rel was good on. I think it was on Fox.
It was.
I thought he deserved another season, but it's just what can you really do?
Cedric the Entertainer show, The Neighborhood, with Max Greenfield from New Girl.
And
it's not on Hulu. It's a Fox show. You can only watch it on Fox's on-demand platform or whatever. So I've never seen an episode of this show.
I be wanting
Never.
to watch it. It's apparently it's very, very funny. That's
I'm
the one
not
with
about to sit here and
that's the one
pay
with
for a
Tichina
Fox
Arnold,
subscription.
right?
I don't know. Yeah, actually, yes, I think she is in it.
That's Tichina Arnold because he's married to Tichina Arnold.
I think
it's
that's
the white
correct,
man
yeah.
from what's it called?
New Girl.
New Girl.
New Girl, yeah.
exactly.
I
So
do like
that's
the
what I mean,
last OG. The last OG is funny.
I watched
I've
most
seen
of
a
the
few.
first season and then kind of
I've seen a
fell
few of
off.
those. Mhm.
I like
I've seen a
because
few.
Daniel Watson's on it. Every couple episodes he's on it. I thought it was funny, but also just like in a very minuscule way support. But yeah, I don't know. I love seeing Black people in content, and I love to always give Black people their due. And I know we've been critical of shit where even the I didn't see the photograph yet, but what was the Queen and Slim? Like I wasn't really a fan of Queen and Slim like that, but I mean I paid for it and watched it. I didn't bootleg it when I could have, or maybe even should have. So whatever somebody got the little.
Slim.
Huh? You liked it?
Yeah.
I liked it for the most part.
Yeah. It
I didn't hate it, but I wasn't like.
I don't think it was the groundbreaking film people played it up to be.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Like I think the story just had holes that for me it did not keep me entertained, like really in the story. Like the suspense was lost. A story like that is you would hope is suspense driven because it's life or death situation. I would have hoped that there were a little bit more like linear in its suspense building rather than like just some of these random scenes that like, all right, this isn't realistic. So now instead of like I'm breaking that fourth wall too often. But you get in a really good movie where it's like Inception or whatever. It's like you forget that you're you. Like you're just locked in on the screen, and someone can ring the doorbell, and it takes you 2 seconds. Like, oh shit, someone's here. You're not on your phone. Like Quentin and Slim, there were multiple times where I'm like, this is okay. What? Then the kid shooting somebody in the face. Like, okay, what was the point of that? Or them, No, but I think it was shot really well though.
Beautiful movie. I think, I hope one day you guys decide to watch The Photograph.
Look,
so
I'm still at this point. I'm waiting for a decent bootleg. I've still only seen cam quality bootlegs on the internet.
I don't really bootleg anymore. I'll pay to rent it. I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen it yet.
I'm surprised they haven't moved up the digital release of it, honestly.
Yeah,
I'm surprised of that as well.
I typically don't bootleg anymore because like it's just a lot of work for me. Like I don't have a Apple TV, so I have to plug my computer.
The gag is if you just rent the damn movie, it's cheaper than going to the movie.
That's what I do.
Only seeing it for one time.
I'm saying I rent everything. I rent
some movies I will rent.
Yeah.
If I just don't feel like pulling out my laptop to go bootleg it. Sometimes, or if I like the movie, or if I like the people in it, I'll rent it. But other times, I'm gonna just bootleg it.
Because with Roku and like Amazon Prime, most stuff that's out you can rent it. But but yeah, I don't know. What else am I watching? Documentaries. The draft was interesting to watch just because it was live.
Yeah, shout out to Bug.
Shout out to my nigga Bug and Element Sports getting all those boys signed.
Amen.
Funny how our joke about white girlfriends was 100% true.
Accurate
as fuck.
So if you need a writer in your writer's room, let me know because I'm available.
I believe that was my joke, but
yeah, but the thing about you got to understand, the thing about me is that this is about me.
Gosh.
So
okay.
Any opportunity that I get, like things that like I get or things that are good for myself, like you and you, Torrance, also, like I'm not sharing those. And I'll even go one step further to take your ideas as mine. So Torrance, like your whole, like I already wrote a script about your life, and it's being we actually might do a pilot. So like that kind of stuff. Like I wasn't going to talk about it.
Honestly, Torrance, now at this point, I'm willing to not be a co-plaintiff with Danny in any lawsuits based around your TV show. Honestly and truly, I'll join your side now, Torrance.
I just feel like at the end of the day, this nigga Danny don't know me, so how he do one on my life? So that's crazy. That's actually super wild that he decided to try and do.
It's loosely based.
There's gonna be a lot of creative liberties in the script.
Inspired by.
Yeah, so yeah, you're actually a slave in my.
Oh.
Sorry.
See, we're going with
place
that.
in the 1800s.
That's
Yeah.
that's
addicted
the
to crack. You're a slave, and you're
direction
addicted.
that we're
In
going
the Mamba
to.
show, you're a former slave that is
A former
also.
slave.
Yeah, you also are addicted to crack, and now
They found they made.
see now
They
you
crack
ask too many
150 years
questions.
early.
Asking way too many questions, and then now you
See,
just
not a
got
lot
out
of
of
thought in this
jail.
background. See, here's the thing. Here's the thing, and this may be a hot take. I don't know, but so there's a show that I absolutely like, really like. It's called Schitt's Creek. Might be one of my favorite shows. It's in my top 10.
I've heard good things about it.
Schitt's Creek is one of those shows that was very underrated. It's on Pop TV. Nobody has Pop TV. No one knows what Pop TV is, but it was picked up. It had I think it just had a series finale, and I just watched that. But at the end of the entire series, because they decided to end it. They were like, we're going to end it on our terms. We want to end it the way we want to end it, instead of us being like, written off. And I'm going to be honest with you, they could have went at least 2 more seasons.
I appreciate when shows end on their own accord.
It was so good. And so their last episode, what they did like a behind the series, and kind of did like how the story came about, what things they did to create the series. And it was just very informative as a writer, as someone who's trying to write content.
Mm-hmm.
It was just very like, it was just like, I don't know. There were a lot of things that I picked up on, a lot of things that I'm doing currently that I didn't recognize was very important. And it feels like a waste of time, or just like, I kind of want to just jump into the script, but I didn't touch started writing the script until like 3-4 months into the concept of me figuring out who these characters were, doing the background on them, and like trying to figure out the storyline holistically, right? And so I feel like there are a lot of people who are creating content and shit don't have no backstory, which is why this shit got holes, which is why that shit don't make no sense, because people just throwing out shit randomly, willy-nilly. So I don't know. Schitt's Creek is a show that I always recommend. It is white people. Very white show. It's
the dad from American Pie.
Who?
Yes. The dad and his actual son, and then his actual daughter is also in it as well, in another scene. But they play father and son in the series or whatever. But it's basically about white people who lose all their money and who become super poor and have to move into this town that they bought as a joke for their son, because that's the only asset that they have remaining. So they have to move into this hotel in this town that is literally called Schitt's Creek. So it's a very comical, experience to see affluent white people struggle as much as they struggle. I enjoy that kind of content.
That's crazy.
I think that may be a problem. I think I need to talk to
that's
somebody
something you need
about
to
that.
work on. That's some self-work.
Yeah.
And I think I may like it for the wrong reasons, but I thoroughly enjoy the content of these white people struggling throughout. And I think that's why I like Black as Fuck the most, because I love to see Black people winning so much. It's beautiful. I like that contrast.
I like how you brought that full circle. Good job, Torrance. Proud of you.
I'm excited for Insecure. Insecure is coming on. Westworld. That's another show about a lot of white people. Westworld season 3. I don't know, y'all.
I'm lost.
Didn't even watch season 2.
You been watching it, Torrance?
I've been lost. I'm sorry. You lost me season 2. You lost me.
Season 2 was still like okay.
And
it was
towards the end of season 2, I was like, what the fuck is... Wait, she did? And now she in this person's body? And wait, who is this now? Like, who the fuck? It's like... It's another clone of you, and it's everybody...
So I don't need to watch season 2 or 3?
Fuck.
It's
if
you've already invested enough time in it, sure.
Well,
I don't know if you can
out.
binge watch Westworld.
Yeah.
Because it's so dense that like you need a recap video after every episode.
I specifically remember that was one of those shows where like I had to be like fully invested in. Like I couldn't be looking at my phone while I was watching it. Like
it's like a quiz. You have to remember people's names. You have to remember people's names because if when they talk, you'll like forget like who they're referring to. You got people. It's it's characters that
People
are
ain't dead no more.
younger person of themselves versus older person. Like
If
now
I get bored
There's
enough,
a
I
fake-
might watch it.
There's the fake daughter and the real daughter and the fake. Like I'm just like, what the fuck?
it's a lot, bro. Like it's I don't know if I can watch it after this season because it's like season 1 was so good and
Season 1 was really good.
it's just they've gotten more dense to like stretch it rather than just telling a really fun story, like interesting, intriguing story.
Also, sorry, I realized that we did not discuss The Last Dance at all. Torrance, did you watch it? Danny, did you watch
Everybody
it?
I didn't watch. I didn't watch it fully.
I think
watched a little bit of it.
I mean, I wasn't expecting a deep dive on it.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
I'm not old enough to know what it was like to be on a Sunday and just watch Michael Jordan play.
yeah, I mean,
So
none of
I
us
think-
are.
I think, and most people, honestly, we're 27, so most people that are even under fucking 35 don't really
Have
know,
firm memories of
you know,
primetime
like
Jordan.
maybe that 34, 35, when you start to like really remember like, yo, I was 11 and sat there and went to a game or like watched from first to fourth
Mhm.
quarter multiple times to know how good this person was. So for this vast generation, I think we're just all learning a lot more shit about like how dominant Jordan was, and
I
just,
think
like,
it might shift the GOAT conversation
to
again.
a degree for sure. I
for
think
some people.
the influence, the just overall ability.
Mhm.
I think people forgot a little bit of how great Jordan was. It definitely, I definitely look put it like this, definitely lends LeBron to do some more things to solidify.
Oh, absolutely.
stance.
Yeah. Torrance, I would highly suggest you watch it.
I didn't watch the full thing because it came on like simultaneously with something else. I can't remember. what it was.
Insecure.
Oh,
It
that's
comes
what it
on
was.
the same time because
The
they do
same time
two.
as
They do
Insecure.
2 episodes a night.
A night, exactly, and so that's why I
Yeah.
didn't like fully. I didn't finish watching the other one.
Yeah, I've rewatched it actually yesterday. The first 2 episodes just because like there was so much detail in it. I was like, I don't have nothing else to do, so let me just rewatch. It's only an hour each episode or whatever. But I'm very excited for the next episodes.
Yeah, it's great. It's what the streets needed. It's what I needed.
Especially, we need some sports, please.
Elite documentary style where it's formatted, the amount of people they got in it. I'm
Mhm.
excited to see the rest of it. But yeah, I'm more concerned or interested to look at what content will look like in 6 months from now.
It's gonna
Really,
be
I guess
scary.
6 months might not hurt because
No, next
things have been
spring.
recorded. I think next spring.
The fall will definitely hurt some, but it's
Yeah.
gonna be next spring where we'll really, really see the hurt.
I think there's going to be a lot less. That was the word I want. Like, well done, like fancy production, but just like let's just get some content out there from.
Yeah,
from
they're gonna
networks.
have to figure something out because a lot of these
Yeah.
shows would be shooting in the fall,
Right.
or
So whether it's
shooting now.
quick specials, reality, vlog style, whatever it is,
Mhm.
I think a lot of these networks to be able to put content out similar to what SNL is doing is going to have to do something here, and
Yeah,
3
programming
quarters.
departments at Netflix and HBO and all that type of stuff.
And
They're gonna be working
I'm-
overtime.
And what I'm looking forward to, and this is kind of like just me, like a hot take, I guess. I don't know if it is or not, but I'm looking forward to like a lot more animation shit, like Big
Mhm.
Mouth and like-
that's I didn't think about that.
yeah, like I feel like that's the bag to jump into right now because can't
Voiceover,
nobody be, voiceover.
Should be able to do
acting
that
and shit like
remotely and
that.
all that type of stuff.
Yeah, so I'm excited to see what's going to come out of that realm because there are a couple things that popped up on Netflix and Hulu, whatever that I've been watching. Like I think it's called Duncanville, and I think that's
Duncanville's actually hilarious.
yeah, it's pretty funny on
It's a Fox
on
show.
Hulu. Yeah, it's a Fox show on Hulu, and that's been pretty funny so far. So I'm looking forward to seeing it. I like the like I said, I don't know if this obviously don't count as witchy shit, but I like the creativity that you can bring within a sci-fi, within an animation, within an anime type of thing, and the liberties that you're able to take when you're doing something that's completely outlandish.
Yeah.
Like, niggas flying in the air, people dropping, hitting the ground from 1,000 feet and still walking and living. And the next scene, they ain't got a scratch on them. Like, it's just, I don't know. I feel like that's just like that creative ridiculousness of animation that I'm looking forward to seeing during this time. And that I think will come out. Also, Avatar, May 14th?
Yes. Avatar: The Last Airbender will be on Netflix on the 14th or 15th.
And when I say Avatar: The Last Airbender, I mean
the cartoon version.
We
Although
don't
the movie,
acknowledge-
I believe the live action movie version is on one of the streaming platforms right now. I scrolled past it the other day.
It is.
But I like to pretend like it doesn't
Netflix.
exist.
It is on
Honestly, though,
Netflix.
Danny, this is one of the best like cartoon shows of all time.
Yeah.
I've watched this series multiple times, and I will be watching it again. It is
Again, like
good.
I haven't watched it before. When I say I've watched it multiple times, since I was like in high school.
I watched it when it was coming out live on television when we were kids.
When we were kids, and then I watched it again. Me and Kyle used to watch it every summer.
Yeah. We watched it in LA. We moved out. I watched it in college. I've watched this series at least 3 or 4 times, at least.
Yeah. And I've done at least 6 or 7.
And I'm going to do it again. It's that good.
Okay, well, I'm done with this. So where
Look,
do we go from there?
Danny about to go order some chicken fingers.
I said I'm done with this. Where do we go from there?
And burgers with no.
You about to order some
burgers with no sauce. I don't like sauce. I don't do sauce. I don't want no lettuce. I don't want no tomato.
Torrance, what are you talking about?
Do you have butter noodles?
Yeah, butter.
Butter.
What are you
butter
two
noodles?
niggas?
Can I have the salt? Can I have the salt, please? That's
this podcast has gone way too long. Shut it down.
This was supposed to be a short episode, so I'm
It was supposed to be 30 minutes.
I'm disgusted. I am disgusted. Bye, y'all.
All right. Episode 136. BlackPeopleMeet.com. Peace.
Deuces.